Okay, I've actually used these for a little while now. It's probably been a few months since I made the last video about some of this new stuff that I got in. Youngstown gloves are really a good product. A couple things. Number one, they're not, if you freehand climb, this isn't quite long enough. This is about a 3-inch cuff. I wish it was about at least a 4-inch. Seems to need just a little bit longer to be as long as my Coons gloves, and they would be great. Some wear issues. I've burned off the frayed stitching. I don't know how many passes they go on making the stitching in the patterns and such as that for the protective part of the palm and everything, but it starts to kind of fray, and I've burned that first layer off, I guess. Hasn't really done it since then, so it seems to be good. The main thing is a couple of spots have started to really wear. It's the thumb, finger. Now these get used a lot. I mean, this is a lot of use, you know, but again, it's just a few months worth of use, you know. And again, I think it's just because the stitching, you know, if they maybe would use a different type of stitching material, thread material, it might not cause it to roll up like that and then lead to this type of thing. Also had this happen right there. That came loose. The threading came loose. I burned it off. Haven't had a problem since I burned that layer off of stitching. But I actually emailed them and sent them some pictures, and they pretty much were like, yeah, we're kind of working on it. So but they did ask how long of a cuff I needed, because I mentioned that it wasn't quite long enough, you know, to use as a main climbing glove. And I told them, so well, maybe maybe see some 4-inch cuff to Youngstown, in which case I'd probably use them all the time, to be honest. Okay. Other thing I had just gotten was the Carhartt helmet. Gosh, what do they call it? Balaclava. And it was good. It's not long enough. It doesn't come down long enough on the neck and into the shoulder. I still wound up wearing my old one, which was really long, but it wasn't real tight to my face, so that's why I got this in the first place. And another thing about this particular one is this part, the part that you can pull up and down over your face. My chin, and it might just be because I have a monstrous chin, but my chin kept pulling it down just from talking, and it kept pulling down. It wouldn't stay up over my nose, over my mouth like that. So if they would do the fabric in such a way where it had kind of a shape to it in that area, it wouldn't pull it down so much. But it's so tight on the chin in this area that my chin kept pulling it down if I didn't stay perfectly still, you know. Yeah. And the Westcos. Now, I've had these Westcos for a while now, but I just wanted to comment on the stitch down technique that they use on the leather. While it does superficially keep water out, they are not water resistant, and you're going to pay a lot to get them custom made, to get some type of liner in them to make them water resistant. So keep that in mind when getting the Westco. Other than that, they're just the classic lineman boot, and they are really well done. The soles, I got the 430, I believe, soles on these, what they call these, a mini lug, and they're showing quite a bit of wear. the heels. See what the heels are doing there? And it's really evident on my right foot. It's even going into the leather because that's where my heel kind of props to drive. Kind of pivots right there when I drive. But a lot of wear on the 430 Vibram mini lug soles. So depending on what you do, if you're in and out of houses a lot, which we tend to be sometimes, that's why I chose that. It doesn't track a lot of stuff in, you know. But if you're going to be outside most of the time, you might want to get the lug, the heavier lug, the 100, I believe it is. It's going to last you a little longer. As well as it really does help, you know, with the grip. If you're in easements a lot and doing a lot of work like that, you know, which in the past at my other climbing boots, I've always had the real heavy duty lug sole on them for doing that type of work. I also wanted to take a minute and mention the socks that I've settled on after years of going through socks as well. And I'm a big believer in socks, you know, Forrest Gump style, you know, or Lieutenant Dan style, you know. This is, I mean, socks make a big difference, especially in this industry. Any industry where you just destroy your feet, you know, day in and day out. These are Lacrosse super-tuff wading socks. Very tall. The discoloration is from the inside of my boots, so they're not. These are, yeah, these aren't brand new. So I've had these for about a year, and there's no thinning of the heel or toe so far. I'm actually very careful with these outside of work. You know, I don't wear them around the house. Per instructions, I turn them inside out to wash them, and I take special care of them. They're pretty expensive, and I just found out they're apparently, I don't know if they're discontinued, but they're not making any right now. There's none on the Lacrosse website. So maybe they're coming out with a different style. I don't know, but I did find one site that seemed to have some in stock for a little over $16, which is about what I paid for them. I paid around $16 for one pair of them, but they're very tall. The top yellow part is the elastic part, and I usually would just wear, you know, some type of tall crew sock and fold it over the top of the, you know, boot or something, or that's if they're on the inside. If they're on the outside, well, if I'm wearing the boots on the outside, well, it doesn't really matter. But I don't wear the boots on the outside a whole lot anymore. But this yellow part here keeps them from sliding down into the boot, and it works. Now, when you pull them on, that part comes way up over your knee. I gotta put this into perspective. Let me just kind of. There's still that much. See what I mean? I mean, that goes up over your knee when they're pulled on. It comes down a little bit through the day, you know, but it never slides over your calf. That really works. But they're wicking and warm, and I wear them year round, you know, and I don't seem to have a problem with them. My boots aren't funky or anything with them, and it's just been a long. It's gonna hurt my heart if they don't make any more of these. But it looks like they're not offering this particular model, you know, anymore. So I'll include a link to this where I found them recently, you know, in the description. Lacrosse super-tuff wading socks.